All right, all right. Hello, friends. This is Jeff Talks, and I'm your host, Jeff. Today, on this podcast, we are going to talk about how boredom is bullshit. Of course, in my opinion, but nevertheless, boredom is bullshit. Specifically, like as an excuse. I hate it. I don't know very many business owners and people that are successful and wealthy. The only person I think I just heard that he used as a tool was Grant Cardone, who's a very successful real estate investor. He says that after he was getting loaded for about 10 years in an interview that I just watched with him on London Real with Brian Rose, he says that basically the reason he got into drugs and alcohol was because he was bored. Um, which I get, I understand, but I don't think it's really that good of an excuse to choose or to be a certain way, to go down a certain path. I think it's we're so conditioned because we're in a society where it's all about being stimulated. And when we're not stimulated, we have this expectation that the world, other people, society, jobs are almost put in our lives to make us feel good and to, gosh, I don't know, like I always had to feel good, to give me a little jolt, to stimulate my brain. Um, so, talk a little bit more about that. And also, we're going to talk about practicing empathy and not sympathy, and sp- uh, specifically about how I try to practice empathy when I'm talking to, especially other people in recovery. Um, it also helps a lot with, gosh, with my family, and or strangers as well. And sometimes it's hard because when I can't like relate or have experience with someone that has gone through something and they're hurting and they're in pain and I haven't felt what they felt, it sucks. And literally that's what I say, like that sucks because I don't even want to pretend like I know what they're talking about. And I guess for me that's the difference between empathy and sympathy. Empathy is empathizing because I've had experience in it. And sympathy is like, you know, putting on a pity party for someone. As David Goggins calls it, having poo poo pants. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. And ooh, emotional longevity. So this topic, I was kind of thinking about how right now I'm trying to do more physical longevity exercises because I'm getting older, right? I'm not getting any younger. So being 34, I turned 35 in June. I'm trying to think about exercises and practices that I can do for the rest of my life. And I think that would be something that I would also like to apply in my spirituality and in my emotions, like in dealing with my emotions, coping with my emotions, and then thriving in and through with my emotions, because obviously I can't get rid of them. I'm choosing not to numb anymore, right? I want to feel everything that life has to offer. So a couple little things that I do with that. I thought that that might be a really fun topic to chop it up about. So, having kind of given you guys a little blanket of what we're going to talk about, I think we should dive right in. And I also want to touch on this, guys. If you guys could subscribe to Jeff Talks, if you guys could please like this on whatever platform that you're on, um, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you guys are at. If you guys could like this, and even share it with your family and friends. If this stuff is really resonating with you, if this is something that you are really taking to heart, please share it. This is literally, you guys and gals. My mother has told me that, Jeff, you say guys a lot. And I'm like, ugh, okay. She's like, I feel like you're kind of putting us gals to the side. So I'm trying to make an effort to say guys and gals. So I apologize, Mom. I love you. And I love all you gals out there too. So if this is resonating with you, guys and gals, please share it with your family, with your friends. Yeah, that's basically it. Whatever type of way you would like to share it. So um, let's start with boredom is a bunch of baloney sandwich. It's a bunch of BS. And again, guys, this is just me. If you resonate with this, amazing. But for me, boredom was an excuse. For me, boredom was an excuse to go do what I really wanted to do, which was go get loaded, and or like gosh, my ego would chime in and say, like, life is so boring. I have to create chaos to make it exciting, and that's when I really kind of got like spiritually sick, and really got like stuck in my own like pride and my own arrogance, and the ego was just flying high with that one, because I was telling myself that I was listening to the delusion of, I'm so good at life, I'm so good at my job, I'm so good at making money or relationships or whatever it may be, we're so manipulative, so cunning, that I have to literally do the wrong thing just to stir up the pot. I gotta get, a DUI. I gotta get, multiple different relationships. I have to, cause harm. I have to stir up the pot, with this guy or gal, or, yeah, shout out to you, Mom. Just to make things interesting. So that was my relationship with boredom. I almost used it to continue to do really what I wanted to do. And I also couldn't stand being bored, because if I felt the feelings of boredom, which in my experience it's just not being stimulated, and I couldn't be quiet with myself. I couldn't sit and just be alone. I had to always be around other people, or if I was alone, I had to be inebriated, like so far gone. And of course, like, during the week, right, the 9 to 5 type, like I could not drink because I had to work. But I definitely, when I started, it was every other day, and then I had to slow it down because it was affecting my work and my performance at work, like showing up late and stuff like that. So then I kind of eased off, and like these are all things that, like, I was like, you see, I'm not an alcoholic, or you see, I'm not an addict. I can still survive in society, and that kind of also feeded into my ego and literally like fed my ego in a way that like, you see, I have to do this. This is what I would like listen to the lie inside my head, guys. It was, you have to do this just to make things interesting because life is too boring. Life, uh, if you're not like, oh my goodness, I think I'm choking on a peanut. Ooh, we might edit that out, or we might not, because I think it might be kind of funny. Oh, excuse me. So, I was listening to the belief system, the BS that if I didn't stir up the pot in life, nothing would ever happen because I wasn't content with just being me, really. And it hurt to just be me. I couldn't be bored because then I would actually have to sit alone in the quiet with myself. So it was painful. Really, I think that's the truth of it is, when I would say boredom, I'm bored, for me, it really meant that deep down, now I know this, right? Now I can see the pattern. It meant that I was in pain. So it's hurtful when I was working in treatment, and I'd hear people say, "Man, I'm bored. Like, dude, treatment is boring. Like, this sucks." Da da da. And I would love those conversations because I'm like, that's okay. Like, it's okay to be bored. There's nothing wrong with being bored, but we're so used to being, stimulated all the time. So it was an absolutely amazing experience for myself to kind of like, first of all, have that experience and having that relationship with boredom, and then after being a little bit sober and then working in treatment and kind of seeing that and hearing that, was I was able to like put the puzzles together. So I hope that was enjoyable, guys. I almost died on a damn peanut. Anyways, hope I'm okay. Maybe I should get some water, but we're gonna try to power through it. So we're gonna try to glide and flow through it, not power. We're just gonna allow this to flow. All right. So the next topic I got here is practicing empathy and not sympathy. So for me, I like to define those. Actually, I have something hanging up here. I'd like to read it. It's a quote from the Dalai Lama, and it says compassion. And I think this might kind of give us a deeper understanding of empathy and not sympathy by Dalai Lama's definition of compassion. So it says, usually our concept of compassion or love refers to the feeling of closeness we have with our friends and loved ones. Sometimes compassion also carries a sense of pity. This is wrong. Any love or compassion which entails looking down on the other is not genuine compassion. To be genuine compassion, sorry, my light is in the way. To be genuine compassion must be based on respect for the other and on the realization that others have the right to be happy and overcome suffering just as much as you have. On this basis, since you can see that others are suffering, you develop a genuine sense of concern for them. So for me, that basically means that like other people have the right, like I have the right to be happy and therefore overcome suffering. I love that. And on the realization that others have the right to be happy and overcome suffering. I absolutely love that. So for me, it's so much more um, healing. Okay, if I can be empathetic with others rather than be sympathetic and kind of, play that victim card, like, oh, I'm so sorry, and I know that's such a natural thing to say, I'm sorry for your loss, but how could I lose something that which I've never owned, right? So like so many things in life were given to me as a gift. And this is just again my experience, guys. Take it or leave it, but how can I lose something that I've never owned? Life is a gift. Therefore, if I perish, I never owned my life. It was a gift. Oh, let that sink in a little bit, So like our relationship with death, and I guess I just kind of went there, but it is what it is, The more that I can be like grateful for my life because it was a gift, right? Or it just happened and it's a fluke, and it's just an explosion, evolution, whatever you believe. But for me, my life is much more full and beautiful when I choose to believe that my life was a gift from the universe, a gift from God, a gift from a higher power, and that I'm a spiritual being, not a better being, just a spiritual being living in an amazing, hardworking physical body. Excuse me, peanut remnants. So for me, it's an incredible relationship when I can be empathetic with a brother and sister, especially in recovery, and I can be like, yes, like I have had that same experience, and this is what I did to maintain my sobriety during that. And then, hey, I'm still sober today. So being able to use that as an incredible tool instead of being like, you know what, I've never had that experience before, like I'm sorry, I feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for those people. I'm excited, and I'm like, let's find someone that has had that experience and then was sober throughout and is still sober today. Like, let me help you find someone that has had that exact experience so that they can then be empathetic with you and encourage you, and see you for not who you were, who you are, but who we're going to be, like that is the type of people that I want around me, and also what I try to be for others. So that's something that my early mentor was adamant about. He's like, Jeff, one of the most spiritual things that you could say to someone is I don't know. Oh my gosh, like that cut straight to my little heart, big heart, big beautiful red heart. And I've never lived in fear of saying I don't know. And I think that has been so impactful to others that I've had those types of conversations with, And even now, even at like work, in a relationship with my family, like I don't need to live in fear of saying I don't know, because that fear of like I'm gonna look dumb, or like I need to help this person. It's my job to like help this person because they're confiding in me, right? No. Again, oh, let me find this. What the Dalai Lama said. Uh, Compassion must be based on respect for the other and on the realization that others have the right, they have the right to be happy. and overcome suffering. So for me, it's also like they have the right to suffer. They have the right to suffer because they also have the right to be happy. And through that suffering, true enlightenment, true enlightenment. David Goggins talks about that. On the other side of pain, there is an amazing other side to this life, a blissful, like, side that not very many of us will ever be able to experience. So I'm going to leave that topic right there with the Dalai Lama and David Goggins. So the next one that we got today, guys and gals, wow, I'm kind of struggling with that. I'm gonna have to do this more and really bring that to my awareness. Gals and guys, maybe I'll say gals first. Beautiful people that are listening to Jeff Talks podcast right now. Our third topic is emotional longevity. So again, to kind of recap, emotional longevity was something that I kind of just threw emotional in front of longevity. I actually was going to talk about, for me, the benefits of having physical, like exercise, workout, longevity exercises. But I didn't really feel that it tied into the first two topics, and especially coming off of, practicing empathy and not sympathy. I really thought it was kind of out of left field if I started talking about, longevity exercises, like physical exercises. So it got me thinking even more. I'm like, what have I been doing? Coming up on 3 years in my recovery, right? What have I been doing from an emotional level, right? Also a spiritual level. I love tying those two together. For me, the cornerstone is my spirituality that pours into every aspect of my life. So what have I been doing to create a good, healthy relationship with my own emotions and my feelings, right? Consistently, that has allowed me, by the grace of the God of my understanding, to continue to be happy, joyous, and free in sobriety. And right off the top of my head, right now, guys, it's super simple. I surrender first thing in the morning. Right when I wake up, my feet hit the ground, and I start with gratitude. Usually it's just literally the words, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love quoting my dear friend Freddie Miller. Thank you for all you've given me. I'm thankful for all you've taken from me, and I'm thankful for all that you've left me. And then I say, thank you, God, for my sobriety. Help me to be a better man today than I was yesterday. Guide me today. Guide me in my recovery. Show me who you would have me be. So it's kind of just like, surrendering to the flow of life, trying to kill the ego, to get out of my own way, and to be open to the universe and the free flowing river of love, and allow that to mold me into the man that the universe has always wanted me to be. And so it starts, for me, it's surrender in the morning, right? Give it up, man, because I don't want to fight no more. Been fighting my whole entire life up to 32, and then 32 years old, I broke. I'm done. I don't want to fight anymore. So for me, life is so much easier when I just start my day off like that, emotionally. So surrender, and then remember. And I think this just kind of inviting that mindset of, of surrender and inviting the universe to continue to come into my life, and getting out of my own way throughout the day. So alongside that, it's sharing and it's giving back 100%. For me, doing this right now is a big part of me just giving back. And also, sometimes I'll throw out some texts, to some brothers in recovery, and I love those guys so much. And I remember how amazing it was when I would receive those texts, and it just gets the day starting off right. So, surrender, giving back, surrender, remember, and then really being of service. So, remember and being of service is, for me, like constant. Um, and then really just trying to be available for my fellow man and to the God of my understanding. And I think those three, like remembering, bringing, when I'm practicing into the prefrontal cortex of my brain, and letting that guide my decisions, um, and being of service, giving back, trying to really add to society and not take from it like I used to, trying to add to people's lives and not take from them. Oh man. And reminding myself, this is also a big one and we'll tie it into, reminding myself of what I decided the God of my understanding would have me be. Right? So for me, it's the God of my understanding would have me be a fearless love. Love those that maybe are deemed unlovable. Because I was, in my head, deemed unlovable and somebody loved me. And that absolutely changed my life and allowed me to be, who I am and what I'm aspiring to be today. What I'm trying to surrender, to get out of my own way, to allow the universe to bring me and mold me, build me into the man that he wants me to be, which is, in my head and in my heart, loving fearlessly, without any regrets, with no expectations. And I think that is what has really helped me a lot during those difficult times, of heartache and pain in sobriety, and where I'm feeling everything. Has been that practice of just surrendering and remembering. And if I'm having a hard time remembering, I reach out, I ask for help. I would go to a meeting, or I'd call someone, or I'd sit and read a book, or I would pray, or I would meditate, or I'd work out, or I'd take a cold shower, or I'd take an ice bath, or I'd call a family member. I would call, I would reach out, I would ask for help, I would exhaust all these amazing tools that I've been given. And still, if that didn't work, I would just wait. If that didn't work, I'm pretty sure that whatever I'm supposed to learn at that time is patience and tolerance. Patience, be patient, wait, learn to wait, surrender to wait, remember to wait, just be. Feel whatever you're feeling 110%. Feel it all. Because I can't disconnect with any part of my emotions. Therefore, I cannot, cut off my arm and expect my body to work the same way. As if, if I had two arms. I'm going to work better if I have all of my limbs, both my eyes, both my ears, my nose. Does that make sense? Like all the five senses, and all that stuff. Just like I'm gonna in my head, right? This is what I've learned. This is what I'm really trying to practice, guys and gals. Is I am so much better when I experience sadness, grief, sorrow, shame, guilt, and love, joy, happiness, fulfillment, right? I want to experience. I can't have one without the other. I can't have my right hand without my left hand. I have to have both, you know? So I can take a baseball and throw it from my right hand and then catch it in my left hand and then throw it back and forth. So it's just being able to be okay with what I'm feeling and just really just riding the roller coaster and being grateful that I'm alive, because like just like an EKG, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but just like an EKG, how it goes up and down and follows your heartbeat, that means we're alive. When we're flatlined and there is no heartbeat, it means we cease to live. We're not living. So I want to live. And if feeling everything means that I'm living, then that's cool. So it's like a reminder. So surrender, remember, bring that, into remembrance. If you can't apply all the beautiful tools that we've been given, a couple that I've listed before, and oh my goodness, I forget the other ones that I kind of talked about, but that's pretty much the basics, guys and gals. What a beautiful day, man. I'm looking out the window in my room. I got these cool little headphones that I got. I got a little like filter screen on my mic. I got a little stand. We are moving up in the world. We are thriving. Doing my best to surrender and remember. Yeah, buddy. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope and pray that you share this with anyone and everyone that you think could benefit from this talk. I love you. Have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And before I say goodbye, I'm going to say 3 things that I am grateful for today. So, numero uno would definitely be I am grateful for my emotions. I am grateful for my feelings. I am grateful for anger, just as I'm grateful for love. And I'm grateful for my relationships. I'm grateful that I'm comfortable in going into uncomfortable places when it comes to relationships and having those difficult, hard discussions. And I'm